Hello and welcome to Fox Car Report. I'm Gary Gastelou. Have you ever dreamed of competing in an endurance race like the 24 Hours of Daytona or 12 Hours of Sebring? Well, you could probably keep dreaming because getting into one of those is an incredibly expensive proposition that can cost hundreds, if not millions of dollars in training and equipment. But these days, there's an increasing number of ways to get your endurance racing fix on a budget. Series like the 24 Hours of Lemons and Chump Car allow folks to put beater cars on the track at a bargain basement price. And now there's a new one that's hoping to take things a little bit more seriously with production-based cars while still keeping costs down. Joining us now is John Kolesa, president of the American Endurance Racing Series, which just held its inaugural race at New Jersey Motorsports Park just a couple of weeks ago. About $1,800, $1,900 for 3 days of endurance racing.
Yes.
How can you do that at such a low price?
Well, I don't know. It just kind of works out that way.
And that's not per person. That's per car.
That's per
You
team.
can divide that between 4, 5, 6 guys.
Absolutely. As many drivers as you want, as much crew as you want. Yeah, all the races are under $2,000, and most of them are 3 days, except for Lime Rock, because they don't run on Sunday. That's a 2-day race, and it's cheaper. But, yep, full three long days at the track.
What type of racing cars are we talking about?
It's production-based race cars, so things like Spec Miatas and Spec E30s, Spec E36s, a lot of things like that. We would love to have Porsches. I don't think there was a Porsche at our first race, but we would love Spec Boxsters and things like that.
And you don't have your own specific formula. These are cars that are certified for all different types of racing series that you're able to bring together into this one
Right.
race.
If a car has a logbook from somebody else, like NASA or SCCA, if they say that they're good, we say they're good. We tech them for safety, but we accept other sanctioning bodies' logbooks.
Now, I mentioned 24 Hours of Lemons and Chump Car. They specifically have that the car can only cost $500, but then with some safety equipment. Yours is a little more broad than that. You have more expensive cars, but affordable cars, though. What exactly is the type of mix that you get at these races?
It varies. There are some of the higher class of those, but also, like I said, club spec cars. And we class them differently than they do. We were looking for a way that all sorts of cars could compete together on one track fairly. So we class cars based on qualifying times. So Fridays, teams set a qualifying time, and then we group them based on their qualifying time. And it worked out very, very well at New Jersey Motorsports Park. After qualifying, there was a fast group, a medium group, and a slow group, and we grouped them together, and everybody got to compete within the group for podiums, and everybody seemed to really like it.
Equalizing performance is difficult. That's a big issue with the professional racing series. How do you guys approach it?
Well, the times show that. If a team is fast, they're fast. If they're not, they're not. So it's not so much the car's performance; it's the team's performance. So if the team is very fast in their car, they're going to be in a faster group. If they're all not exactly 10/10ths drivers and their car isn't the fastest car, they'll be in a group of similarly performing cars. So they'll be in a group that they can be competitive in.
And these are pretty long races, 6 hours, 9 hours.
Yeah, we were at 9 hours a day, 2 9-hour races at New Jersey, and we'll be 2 7.5-hour races at the Glen, and then at Lime Rock, because there's no Sunday, we're going to run 3 hours Friday afternoon, and then I think 7 hours on Saturday. So it's going to be 10 or 10.5 hours of racing over 2 days at Lime Rock.
How do you approach safety, especially when you're talking about having to come in the pits, I guess refuel a couple of times?
Yeah, I mean, we allow teams to do something in the hot pits, but not an awful lot. We don't allow them to jack cars or change tires or really work on the cars. Just fueling and change the driver and clean the windshield, things like that. They're amateurs, so they're not really... Their job isn't working on cars in hot pits, so they can work on the cars back in the paddock, but we only allow them to do those things in the hot pit.
And you've actually set a minimum pit time to sort of make things a little bit safer, a little less rushed.
We have. We said they have to be in the pit for 3 minutes, so you can fill the car up with fuel and change the driver in 3 minutes without having to rush, because we don't want people trying to do it as fast as they can, because they're not, like I said, they're not professionals. So in 3 minutes they can do that and they can get out. If they're not well rehearsed, they don't know what they're doing, they'll go over. But
as far as skill level of the driver, some series pretty much let anybody in. Other ones require years and years of training. What is yours require?
We accept licenses from all the other clubs: NASA, SCCA, BMW Club, Porsche Club. If you have or had a license with them, or if you have a lot of open wheel experience, if you've done 5 Lemons or Chump races, we accept those drivers, but we keep an eye on them. They're kind of on probation initially with us.
3 races this year, your inaugural season. What's your plan for next year? You have an idea where you're going to be?
More races in this part of the country. We would love to be at VIR on the full course, and we'll see. But we're going to kind of spread out from the Northeast.
Long-term goal, more races, same price, just
Yeah,
keep it
I mean,
grassroots, or do you want to grow into something big, maybe even a sort of semi-professional level?
Not really semi-professional level. I mean, we certainly want to see faster cars, and we would want to see the Class A cars that we saw. We would hope they would be Class B cars, and we would attract more faster cars for Class A. So we do have faster cars, but not professional. It's going to be an amateur racing series, but we would like to grow it because there seems to be a lot of interest. People message me on Facebook almost every day saying, when are we going to come to the East Coast? Because they've heard about the format, they really like the idea. So there seems to be a lot of interest in it.
When's the next race?
It is October 17th, 18th, and 19th at Watkins Glen.
Former home of the Formula One, American Formula One, U.S. Grand Prix in Watkins Glen back in the day. A classic track. It's going to be great out there, I'm sure. John Kolesa, president of American Endurance Racing. If you want to learn more about it, go over to AmericanEnduranceRacing.com. And if you want to find out the latest news in the automotive world and check out our reviews, head on over to FoxCarReport.com. We've driven a couple of race cars ourselves, Aston Martin, even an F1 car, although not very quickly. But the video is there, so go check it out, and we'll see you next time.